What's the most dangerous flight condition in aviation? It's not a storm, it's not turbulence, it's not mechanical failure. It's called CFIT, controlled flight into terrain. The controls are green, engines are working perfectly, pilot is conscious, hands on controls, fully in control, fully. But the aircraft flies perfectly, efficiently, with zero errors, straight into a mountain. The aircraft did everything right, but the system failed. I worked in AI for 20 years to prevent exactly this happening across world's largest airlines. I mapped every failure mode. I designed redundancies. I worked very, very hard to protect these million-dollar machines from catastrophes like this. In AI, there is a name for a failure like this, which does not look like a failure at all. It's called optimizing for the wrong objective function. The system works perfectly, but it is working on the wrong objective. What I did not design, what no algorithms could ever catch, that I was at aircraft, I was in CFIT, working effectively, efficiently on a wrong objective. I left my hometown with 150 rupees in my pocket when my brother showered those rupees into it when I angrily left my home by slamming the door. I had the confidence that I had figured out the formula for success. You know, back in the day, 150 rupees, that's not a number. That's the weight of a father who works 6 days a week and yet uncertain that he could fill the room with hope, and uncertain that he could bring his kids to college. It's the weight of a farmer, of a guy that pulls the rickshaw, runs the auto, that works 7 days a week, yet uncertain they can put food on the table. It's the weight that whether their kids can go to college and can have a life that is different from theirs. The weight of knowing one wrong turn, one failed exam, one missed opportunity could pull the entire architecture down. Not just for you, but for everyone that bet on you. That day, I was standing at the bus stop with the hand on my pocket, safeguarding my 150 rupees from a heavy rain that's wiping off the tears rolling off my cheeks. There is only one thought in my mind, one contract with my 19-year-old self, that I'm never going to be at the mercy of a number so small. That day, I decided I'm going to work hard. I'm going to study harder. I am going to build a life that is failure-proof. Work hard, optimize hard. Build a system that failure never reaches me. I'm pretty sure every one of you here are doing your same calculation right now. You have your own version of 150 rupees. That may be that perfect 9.5 CGPA, or a placement offer, or a startup idea that you are terrified to launch. Because someone told you that's the plan. White knuckles. Grip is the plan. That is the plan that someone told you. I'm going to tell you something that you may already know. The Swiss cheese model. Every defense system has holes in it. But you stack enough layers of redundancies, failure modes, contingencies, that no hole will never align. You stack enough of these layers that failure doesn't pass through. I applied the same model to my life. Working hard more than I need to was a layer. Wealth was a layer. Perfect family was a layer. Status was a layer. The plan worked brilliantly until you realize that you're working so hard to maintain these layers, you forgot to ask, what am I actually protecting? CFIT just doesn't happen at 30,000 feet. December 21st, 2021, the shortest day of the year. Dallas North Tollway. It connects Dallas downtown to North Dallas suburbs. I was in a machine. This one is electric and road bound. But the failure modes are identical to everyone that I worked prevent for 20 years. The system is working perfectly, but the pilot is blind. Control system right into terrain. The Tesla's AI was performing brilliantly. Lane change. Full self-driving. All controls nominal. But the system doesn't know that it is flown by a pilot that has a objective function that's so corrupted. That night, I was making 5-degree nudges at 120 miles per hour towards a concrete median. I split into two people. The pilot who wants the noise to stop in his head at any cost, and the observer, the systems engineer, sitting, watching the pilot with a cold-hearted detachment. The systems engineer didn't panic. He sit back, he went into a diagnostic mode. And he asked one question, who wrote this program? And when was this last audited? That was the Paheli. He did not panic. He did not ask, how do I survive this crash? Instead, he asked, what am I supposed to do next? We worked brilliantly to fulfill the fears of someone else's that instilled in our life along the way. That night, when I pulled over, the systems engineer in me didn't go into diagnostic mode. Instead, he sat in the silence of the electric motors, put his head on the steering wheel, kept asking, what am I supposed to do? What's my next objective? No, I did not find an answer for that. It took 2 years, but everything changed. No, I did not go into therapy. I did not go into top of a mountain for a sabbatical. It's those cold, hard mornings. I wake up before everyone wakes up. Take a cup of coffee, keep thinking, what am I supposed to do? But working so hard for decades, fulfilling someone else's external validation, my internal compass was so rusty, it barely moved. But just like the aircraft, right before it takes off, it lifts off. It doesn't make one sharp turn. Instead, it makes these small, continuous adjustments. Just like that, somewhere along the way, I found my objective. I found my internal vector. Then, why did it take a concrete median and 120 miles per hour to trigger the audit? You are all engineering students. You are trying to solve defined problems with elegant solutions. Working in AI for 20 years, there is one thing I learned no textbook ever taught me. That is, most dangerous systems are not the ones that malfunction. They are the ones that work beautifully on a wrong objective function. I want to leave this paheli to you. When you take a step back and when you look at what program you're writing, did you ever ask who decided that was the program you're supposed to be on? When my photo showed up on the NASDAQ billboard, or my book released to a best-selling status for months, or when I sold my company for $1 billion acquirer, I wasn't working hard, but I started working smarter. I stopped running scared. That day when I pulled over, I am sitting in one of the most advanced vehicles that was ever built. There is significant amount of AI, neural networks, controls, safety systems that are there to protect you. But technology never softened my life. It gave my dysfunction a faster start. We build for speed. We do not build for direction. Most of you that are sitting here, you realize this is the most competitive room in India. Every one of you perhaps be the best as you enter every classroom since your childhood. That's your 150 rupees. You are gripping it so hard. The paheli is not success or failure. It's when you realize the gap between the person that is performing for external validation to the one that inside you that truly exists. When you take a step back, when you ask yourself, is this the life that I'm choosing right now? Is the one I am on? Or is the life that I'm on the path right now is the one that's going to take my fears away? When you think about that, those are two objective functions. The one that you think you are on, the sooner you choose that, the quicker you would know that there will be less concrete down the road when you hit your wall. So when I found myself on the NASDAQ billboard, I identified the man in the photo. But more importantly, I also recognized the man who is watching that photo. It's the difference and gap between the man that's seeing the photo and that is on the NASDAQ billboard. That's the paheli. But the most beautiful thing about life is this. It doesn't end when you hit your CGPA. It doesn't end when you launch your first venture. It doesn't end when you get your placement job. Or when you ring the bell on the exchange floor. It's just the beginning. The beauty of that is, it only gets richer from there. So you need to know before you arrive at your rumble strip, what is it that you want to achieve? The wall doesn't care about your CGPA. The Paheli is not, how do I avoid the wall? It's knowing the noise, knowing the voice right before you get to the rumble strip. Then you get to stop. You get to audit. You get to rewrite. When you rewrite, you have a new life on the other side that's written on the correct objective function. That's the audit. That's the pullover. Solve the Paheli. Rewrite the function. Thank you.